major bombshell with documents dropped showing there's a use of deadly force against Trump. Were they going to assassinate the guy? Let's talk about it today. This is a pretty big story and no one's talking about it. And it's trending, of course, on Twitter, but this is a document that had already been released dealing with the raids on Mar-a-Lago. But now if you look in the fine writing, they literally had a use of deadly force enacted. Remember, who personally signed the form for them to go in? AG Merrick Garland. Let's talk about it today. Hey guys, welcome to The Max. Thank you so very much for being here today. If you are new to the channel, go down here, press subscribe, ring the bell, give us a thumbs up if you like the content of today. It does help us share our message across this platform, and it means the world to me. So thank you so much, and I humbly ask if you like the channel, comment below, subscribe, and thumbs up. Now let's talk about the story of the day. Tucker Carlson made a comment, it's probably been 6 months ago now, saying that we're almost seeing a Kennedy-esque situation with Trump where the more court they bring against him, the more trials they bring against him, the more lawsuits they bring against him, the more pundits are pushing against him, even the uniparty Republicans pushing against him. The man is not getting pushed back down. And they said he actually said that it may be the possibility where people will look to kill him. Now he was saying that not tongue-in-cheek. He was saying that as, I hope he's got protection, because this could be a very serious situation where people want to kill this man. Now let's talk about what just happened, what just dropped, what monster news just dropped and no one's talking about it. So deadly force was an option. New documents show that FBI agents were prepared for the Secret Service resistance, meaning if they had a pushback, that the raid could have caused and pushed for hard firearms. They could use them against Trump. And maybe even the Secret Service. I mean, think about that now. Think about that. The operation plan to raid at Mar-a-Lago in southern Florida stated that should President Trump arrive at Mar-a-Lago during the period of time, the FBI agents were prepared to engage with him and U.S. Secret Service agents who protect him. So the FBI was willing to literally have a battle over classified documents, which Pence, Biden, Obama, Clinton, Bush have all had. Remember, he was president too, unlike Biden. They were literally going to use deadly force against other Americans, Secret Service agents that's done nothing wrong, doing their job, and the former president. The document also stated that Mar-a-Lago employees refused to provide a list of occupied guest rooms. FBI agents would knock on each guest room door and determine occupation status. Agents would request a map, a list of rooms, and a skeleton key for all rooms, and were preparing to bring lock-picking equipment with them to go in each room. The documents produced to President Trump through discovery of the criminal case against him were placed in the docket and kind of made light today. All of a sudden, when this came alight, all of a sudden it showed that they were able to use deadly force. President Trump's lawyers attached the documents exhibiting a motion asking to suppress the evidence seized by the agents because they were arguing it was unconstitutional. Again, the man has the rights to have the documents. Every president has had it. It's amazing that we go into his home and even threaten his life. That's a big deal. In addition to 25 FBI agents, the Bureau's Miami office, the group of DOJ personnel included 5 officials from Washington and 2 DOJ lawyers. Now here's where it gets intense. Listen to this. The documents included a statement where it said use of deadly force, which quoted in the actual document. It says law enforcement officers of the DOJ may use deadly force only when necessary. That is, when the officer has a reasonable belief that subject of such force poses an imminent danger of death or serious physical injury to the officer or another person. Now think about this. Let's role play it. You have the FBI from Miami there, but then you have specific 5 to 7 man teams coming from Washington. What if Trump was there, and what if Trump was like, hey, what are you doing? Come in my home. just literally sitting right there at the door, waiting to say, hey, I don't know if you can enter the home. What if all of a sudden the Secret Service was like, look, you can't come in here with guns. You're not doing that. I mean, do you realize this is a play where the AG literally threatened Americans' lives that were doing their job of serving a former president? Do we not find this crazy? Now, here's the thing. Nothing seems to slow Trump down right now. Do you honestly believe, like Tucker Carlson said, as we talked about in the very first, do you honestly believe that they'll try to assassinate him? I believe there's probably been tons of attacks on him. But you're talking about a man that is very polarizing, and you're talking about someone who, the left, the ones who are a little bit more immoral, the ones who don't have maybe core values and morals, the ones who does not have a spirit of humbleness, they're the ones that saying he needs to die. I mean, think about that. I kind of go back to RFK too. I mean, here he is running for president, and he can't get Secret Service to even watch over him after 2 members of his family was assassinated. So what is this Biden DOJ doing? What is this Biden administration doing when they're allowing their 2 rivals, one to be raided with a use of deadly force attached to it, personally from the AG, probably personally from Biden, and then RFK can't even get Secret Service for protection? This is a pretty, to me, this reminds me of third world countries kind of thing, where we're like, well, if we don't like the opposition, we'll make sure they're not alive. We'll make sure they're not where they can serve. We'll make sure they're not around. I think we're seeing some crazy things. I mean, the use of deadly force on a former president and Secret Service agents. We're not going into some drug cartel house. We're not going across the border. We're not going to find Osama bin Laden. We're literally going in the former president's home, where he hosts a lot of guests, a lot of American citizens. And here's the thing. We're looking for classified documents. And this is, remember, something that the presidents have full immunity to say, I declassify these documents. Every president has done it. Every president has done it. So we were literally going in for classified documents to use deadly force. I wonder if he was actually there and they showed a little resistance. What would have happened? Those specific 5 to 7 DOJ agents that come from Washington. What was the real goal? Agents were equipped with standard issue weapons, ammunition, handcuffs, badges, brought with medium and large bolt cutters. There was no basis for the FBI to bring guns into Mar-a-Lago, says President Trump's lawyers. There were no threats, no risk of agent safety arising from these allegations, and they had a use of deadly force clause in their paperwork. The lawyers also argued that the FBI agents omitted relevant information from the affidavit submitted to the judge as part of the request to authorize the warrant. So they hid information to be able to get this to go. The agents, for instance, failed to disclose the presidents are not required to obtain clearances that are sensitive to briefings and classified information that president had at Mar-a-Lago. The attorneys also said that while some FBI agents did suggest seeking the consent of the former president to search Mar-a-Lago before the warrant, he was completely deceived at this point. Meant that there was ample reason to avoid seeking Trump's consent. And so what they were doing is saying, we're not getting his permission, we're raiding his place for these documents, and we're going to have deadly force to do it. To me, what this shows is they're not going to risk anything for him not to be in power again. That's a very serious thing. This dropped yesterday, and not one real media is covering it. A lot of people like us are, and so I hope we can spread the news, but it's like we have a president who is going after the former president and was willing to allow his officials to use deadly force. We were going to literally martyr the guy. That is unfathomable here in America. So they would stop at nothing. So I hope if Secret Service and President Trump has got good protection, because it's like these dystopian movies we see. I mean, what could go wrong? I mean, here we are, we're in the Congo trying to throw a coup. We just saw a helicopter go down to Iran, and nobody really knows why, with its leader. We did see Navalny die, In Russia, no one knows how. It was of natural causes, they said. We saw these whistleblowers all of a sudden, you know, not make it after a Boeing fiasco. There's nefarious things going on. And when you see the fact that they're targeting the former president, that's a big deal. And for even liberals, even people who don't like Trump, that should scare you a little bit. Because remember, one day you may be on the opposition, and that should worry you. Guys, let me know what you think. I think this is a monster story, and this bombshell dropped, and nobody wants to talk about it. Trump's team dropped it. Twitter's going crazy over it. A lot of people like us on the conservative side are saying, what are we doing? This is not liberty, this is not freedom, this is not safety. And now we're looking like a third world country. That goes along with our economy anyways, but it blows my mind that we're allowing this to happen. And you can't tell me it's quote unquote Biden. The man is completely old and lost, but he has handlers, and these handlers are doing some nefarious things. So let me know your thoughts. Now before we end, if you could follow us on Twitter, we're sharing so much information over there. We're doing giveaways here on YouTube, and of course we're sharing information over there, and that's kind of where we find a lot of these stories. So please go over there, follow us on Twitter. You're going to be entered into a secondary giveaway over there as well, and we'd love to have you. God bless, guys. Focus on the truth that's coming out. This election cycle is going to be intense.